Good morning. So as you can tell, we are in Paradise this morning. One of the subscribers, Nader and Vanderby, 1847, I believe is the name of the subscriber, requested that we throw up some 3D drawings of the house. I didn't want to just throw in a drawing and not talk about it. This has been quite a journey. It started a couple of years ago when we bought this property. When we got back to the States from buying this property, we immediately went to work on designing houses for this property and this layout. There's a whole bunch of videos in the playlist down below if you're interested in that. I believe it's called Designing Our Thailand Home or something like that, the playlist is. But we spent weeks and weeks and weeks, and what I did is I actually went through and working with Sampit would design a house plan. And then I'd be like, oh, no, I don't like this. Tell her we're going to start over. We did this 4 or 5 times. But what I didn't tell her was I was saving those old house plans. When we got all the way to the end to about house plan number 4, 5, I don't remember. I then pulled them all out. And there's a video on this where we actually went through and scored those house plans in order by the way that we liked each house plan as an individual without telling each other. And then on camera, if you go back and look at the video, we revealed how we scored each one of those. We totaled up the scores, the house that scored the most. Actually, there was a tie for the top 2, but the one tying house was my number 1, which was the worst score. And wait a minute, we scored them. I don't remember, but either way, it was the one I liked the least and the one she liked the most. So we had one house that we both scored exactly the same. So that's the house that you're going to see now. I did do these drawings myself at home on a computer on an old software program I had from years ago. But we brought those rough plans that I drew them in AutoCAD and I drew them in a 3D program. But I brought those AutoCAD drawings to an architect here in Thailand last spring when we got here. And he took those and I thought gave us a complete set of construction drawings. We took those to a local builder. He opened them up and looked at them and said, where's the rest of them? I'm like, what do you mean? This is all he gave us. Oh, no, they're missing this one, this one, this one, this one. There's a bunch of stuff missing that's required for the builder, not necessarily legally, but for the builder that he wanted. So he said, I'm going to have to redraw them all again. So we spent all of this past summer and spring, I'll say working with this local builder, but really there wasn't much working because he was silent as a lamb for the first 6 months. Couldn't get a hold of him. He wouldn't reply back. Finally, he started communicating with us right before we got over here. When we got over here, he had been working on a house here already. And I went and looked at that house that he had just completed this past summer. And there were some things I seen that concerned me. And it wasn't necessarily technical stuff. It was easy stuff. Like he had his painters drip paint all over the windows. And they didn't even take the time to clean the paint off. There was some sealing stuff like caulking seal, stuff that was just sloppily done that I just said, well, the guy don't care about detail. He just wanted his money and wanted to get out. You shouldn't have to deal with as a new homeowner that you just paid thousands and thousands of dollars worth. Caulking that was just sloppily thrown in there that needed cleaned up and redone because it was just piss poor workmanship and the builder never took time to fix it. So the owner of the house was having to do that himself. And I just said, no, that's not right. You spend all this money. It's a brand new house. You should be able to walk in and just go to sleep, not worry about that shit. So we parted ways with him. I had researched another builder online that another YouTuber had used to build his house. So we got a hold of them. And this was after we arrived here, this trip. We got a hold of them, set up appointment, gave them prints. They said, okay, we'll do our own. They did their own. There was a bunch of stuff that we realized as we were going through the process later on that they did not do correctly, or they had left out, or they changed. But as we're going through this process of working out the details in the house, we'd keep noticing different things that they hadn't done correctly from our drawing that we gave them, or stuff that they had changed, like moved windows around and stuff like that. But anyhow, so we kept telling them these errors we were finding, and they started getting mad at us because we kept making changes. Finally, I was fed up with them. I just said, look, these are not changes. They're errors that you guys are made, and we shouldn't have to go back and find your errors. And now you're complaining because we're making changes when we're not making changes. So that ended that relationship. So we went back to work looking for another builder. We come across this builder that we have now via word of mouth from Sabai, actually. She knew of somebody that this guy had done some work for. So we called him up. They said, yeah, come over to Canthalak, which is about 50 kilometers from here. We're at a house right now that we're building, getting ready to finish up. You can take a look at. So we went over there, met with them there in the house they were finishing up, talked to them, felt pretty decent about the conversation, gave them our print, and asked them to just do a rough estimate on us to give us a ballpark. They did that. The number came in where we thought we should be, which I should mention too. The other builder was significantly higher than what I thought it should be. So while working with him, we were smashing down this house again and again and again, both builders actually, and making it smaller and changing details to try to get it down to where I had budgeted. So we gave these folks the prints. They took off. A few days later, they got back with us, gave us a number that I thought was where the first builder should have been. Said, okay, go ahead with the prints. We gave them some money to do the full set of prints on it. And we worked through the details with them on that, made a few changes. But looking at it now, I regret one thing. When we were smashing down the house, we should have took some of that space back, but we didn't. But this is the floor plan that we designed originally, what, year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whenever it was. I don't remember now. 2 years ago, I think it was. But this is the floor plan that we designed, and it just smashed down a little bit. But yeah, we've got pretty much everything we wanted, but we also talked to them, as you all know now by watching the videos, about the outside retaining wall. I asked them to give a price on that because their price on the house we thought was a reasonable price. So they gave us that number. We agreed that that was a good number. So as you all know, we've got them doing the whole project now. And I believe I mentioned it in one of the earlier videos. We initially gave them just the house plan. And then right toward the end, we said, go ahead and give us a number for that outdoor living parking area. They gave us a number for that. And it was significantly less than the other builders. And I've mentioned this before also, that the other builders want to just charge you a flat rate per square meter outside for what they're charging inside, which I just could not wrap my mind around, because outside all you have is a roof and a floor. That's it. Very little electrical, maybe some lights and a couple outlets, a couple switches, but there's no walls, there's no plumbing, there's nothing. But yet they were wanting to add the same amount per square foot to do that. These guys, and I told those folks that, and they said, no. We'll give you a number based on time and material. And so they come in a third or less than what those other builders were wanting. But I think that's what set them apart, is they were doing their pricing based on actual material and time cost, where the other ones have just got a flat rate that they're just charging. They come in about 300 per square meter less than the other guys. I mean, it's a pretty simple floor plan and not a lot to it. Like I said, it's not that big. It's like 140 square meters and probably pretty close to that outside too. But actually, no, it wouldn't be. It'd be about 90 square meters outside. But they put together a 3D drawing with the final house with the outside parking area. The color scheme that they used was just something that they randomly chose. I don't know where they got it from, but our color patterns will probably be similar to that, but we're going to go with gray and white tones with some white trim and black windows, I believe is what we're going to do. So yeah, that's our 3D house plans that we processed through over the last couple of years. It's been a long journey, but it's finally here. Today is actually the last day of 2023. We have a New Year's celebration that we're going to go to this evening. We are planning on getting some video on that, and I will probably put that video up before I put this one up, because if I wait to put that one up, it's going to be pretty untimely. So yeah, we're pretty excited to get moving forward. The folks are on a holiday break right now. As soon as they get back from the holiday, which is New Year's weekend, they will get started on this house. I imagine the first thing they'll do is they'll dig down around these pilings and chop them off and start laying some footings on top of them. But we will see. The guys on the fence should be back. Today's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, probably Tuesday or Wednesday, which is, I think, when they're scheduled to be here on the house too. But so that's our journey to where we are today, and the 3D house plan and all the drawings and stuff that we went through to get here. We appreciate everybody watching our videos, and we look forward to sharing our journey through this process with everyone. Thank you for joining us at Paradise in Thailand.